Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And I've got another combination out here today that we haven't tried yet, and one that I'm really looking forward to because I think it's going to give us a really good looking pattern. Especially considering that we know these particular shells can perform really well, and we've tested them through a different choke in this constriction, and they definitely showed some good performance through that other choke. So I'm thinking we should see some pretty good results here. So for the shell I've got out here today, I've got some more of the Herter's TSS loads. These are a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1.5 ounce of number 9 TSS going about 1200 feet per second. And we've done quite a bit of testing with these, and these are absolutely the best TSS load you can get off the shelf. And I think one of, if not the cheapest TSS loads you can get straight off of a big box store shelf. And as for the setup we're going to be running today, I've got my 1187 back out here again with this choke. This is a Carlson's Longbeard XR 660 constriction turkey choke, and we have tested those Herter's loads through the Cabela's Black Max 660, and they showed us some very good looking results. So with this being a 660, maybe we can get something similar. But as for the test, it's going to be the same as usual. I have a turkey target set up at 40 yards. I also have the chronograph, so we'll be able to see how close we actually get to the 1200 that's on the box. So let's get you guys set up with a view of this target. I'll head up and take the shot. We'll glance at what kind of chrono number we had real quick, and then we'll go down range and see how they actually performed down at 40 yards. So let's go over here and get set up and shoot these and see if we get a pretty good looking pattern out of them today. Okay, so that shell gave us 1317 through the chrono. The box was claiming 1200, so we are 117 above what the box is saying. So they're moving out relatively quick, but if I'm remembering correctly, that's not entirely unusual for these shells. I think we've seen high 1200s or close to 1300 before, and we do have a pretty long field barrel on this gun as well. So I wouldn't say it's anything out of the ordinary, but how did they actually perform down range? Let's go take a look and see, because I think we have a pretty dead bird down there. Alright, so now we're down range here at 40 yards, and this is what we got. Now, first off, before anything, we absolutely have a dead bird. There's 6 or 7 in the brain there, and probably 5 or 6 more down the spine. But just look at the ball of shot just to the left of his head there. I do unfortunately think this pattern was a touch to the left, but either way, I mean, we can clearly see that this is a really hot pattern. I mean, this ball in this core area right here to the left of his head, I mean, that is a softball size just column of shot flying down range. But looking at it kind of as a whole here, it's definitely a tight pattern, but it gives you leeway. And looking at the whole rest of the pattern here, we really don't see anything blown wide open. I mean, we have a couple of flyers, 1 or 2 down there and a couple across on this side, which has not been unusual for this shell to produce a few flyers here and there. But for that core area right there, I mean, that is really nothing to complain about in my opinion. Now, if I really want to get nitpicky with it, I don't think it's quite as even as it performed with the Cabela's Black Max 660 choke. I think this one is a little bit more, and when I say a little bit, I mean just absolutely nitpicky, but a little bit more splotchy around just the outskirt edges of the pattern. But I mean, that is being just beyond picky about it, because how can you really complain too much about what that gave you right there? That is absolutely a turkey killing pattern, and I would say that it absolutely held up to what these Herter shells normally do for us. So once again, I really don't have a ton of complaints here. That would absolutely get the job done, and I wouldn't hesitate at all to take that setup out after turkey. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell, and as you can see, it's your typical orange plastic wad that's in these Herter shells. It is a little bit shorter, 2 3/4 inch size wad, but it opened up pretty much exactly perfectly. There's nothing stuck down in there except a little piece of like styrofoam or something that they use just as a cushion down there, which apparently works, but there's no pellets or anything stuck down in there. No rips or tears on the wad. And these wads, I mean, Herter's is made by Winchester, and these wads feel and look very similar to the Longbeard XR wads. But either way, nothing out of the ordinary here, nothing at all that's special or catches my eye to see. So I believe it absolutely did what it was supposed to do, again, for these Herter shells. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance there? I think most of us knew coming into it that it was probably going to be a pretty good looking pattern, especially if you've seen some of the other Herters testing that we've done. So clearly, yet again, I mean, for a budget TSS load, and we're talking like 45 bucks where everybody else is at least in the 50s, if not above that, for ammunition options that are on the store shelf. This outperforms everything and it's cheaper. So as for the Longbeard XR choke and the Herter shell here, it's yet again a perfectly usable combination. There's no doubt about that. That would absolutely smoke a bird out to 40 yards, and I have no doubt you could take that out to 50 yards as well. So what do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Is that about what you expected to see? Have you used the Herter shells or the Longbeard XR choke or the combination of the two? And if so, what has been your experience with them? Leave all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. But with that being said, I've got a few more patterns to film for you guys this week, so I'm going to jump back to it. As always, we do have an Instagram as well as a mailbox where you can send stuff to the channel now. So I'll leave all that information in the description for you if you're interested. But I'm going to jump back to the testing for you guys. So I'll see y'all in the next one.